Hello, what I'm going to show you today are 3 herbs that I sowed from seed a little while ago. There's curly parsley, there's chives and there's basil. I sowed them in one of these little trays, and 2 out of the 3 have gone really well. One is a little disappointing, but there are some there. And I'm just going to show you what I'm going to do with them next. Now this is the parsley. The parsley's done very well. These little white bits here, it's actually been getting quite hot in the greenhouse, and when the sun shines it's actually started to burn the leaves, but that's okay. All the rest underneath are okay. So what I will do with these is get little clumps of sort of 3 or 4 plants, maybe up to half a dozen, and just put them in a 3-inch pot. And then they can grow on in that. I will do the same with the chives. The chives, as you can see, are growing beautifully, but I might get about 6 of those and put those in a 3-inch pot and let them grow on. The basil has been a bit pants, but we've got some, but it was very slow, and I don't quite know why. So I've got some that are okay, and the others I will just, I think, leave a little bit longer to grow. Loads came up, and then lots of them died. So I'm not quite sure why, but there we go. It's one of those things. So I will put these in individual pots, the ones that are big enough, and the rest I will leave and then pot on a little bit later. So I just thought I would show you how to do those. Right, so I'll show you the chives, but the chives and the parsley do exactly the same. Okay, so just get your 3-inch pot and then just fill it to the top with multi-purpose compost. And then just gently push it down like that. Ooh, try not to knock it over in the same time. And then we just want to take a little clump of these. Okay, about half a dozen plants at a time. You can see there's lots of lovely roots underneath, so they are doing very, very well. They tend to grow in a clump anyway. You won't tend to, well, I don't anyway, tend to sort of plant them out individually. And then they'll keep coming up every year and they'll keep spreading, so do be aware of that. So just get a little clump, trying to separate them, the roots. Okay, just a little clump like that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 little plants in there. And just stick your finger in the compost, pop them in, push them down a little further than they were when they were in the other compost, and then just cover up just like that and just sort of firm down gently. Do exactly the parsley in exactly the same way. So I'll carry on with these, and I'll show you when I've finished. Right, well that's all the chives done. Ooh. If you are a little short on space or pots, then you can put, I would suggest, up to 10 little chive plants in here. They won't really mind. If you do have a sort of more space, then, you know, sort of half a dozen, but they won't mind being sort of crammed in quite close together. Now, chives are magical. You don't need to protect them from slugs and snails, because the slugs and snails don't actually like the smell of the chives, so they won't actually eat them. If you do have a problem with slugs and snails in your garden and you're not sure how to control them, and you don't want to use any sort of pellets or anything else like that, then you can plant clumps, big clumps of chives all over your garden, and it will actually help protect your plants. So these are great and they taste good. So that's the chives, the magical plant of the garden. So now let me just put these back up here. It's on to the parsley. And as I said, the parsley, do it in exactly the same way as you did the chives. So fill up your 3-inch pot to the top, just give it a gentle sort of push down, and then again just get a clump of up to half a dozen little plants, or you know, more if you are short on space. If you've got some that are a little small, it doesn't matter, just make a hole. Oh, I've dropped one. And just make a hole, pop it in, push it down nice and gently, and then just gently smooth the soil back over, just like that. Okay, so I'll carry on doing these. Now these you will need to protect against the slugs and the snails, because they do like parsley. You can get curly parsley, which is what this is. You can get flat leaf. There's all sorts of different varieties, and it all tastes absolutely wonderful. So I'll carry on, and I'll be back with you to show you the basil in a sec. Right, so I've just finished the parsley. I've got 2 trays like this at the back here, so there's 9 in each, so that's 18 of those I've got. Don't worry if some of them are quite small, the little seedlings. They will grow. Just stick them in with some other big ones, so just little clumps of them, and then they'll grow sort of in about a month's time. They should be about 6 inches tall, and then they'll be big enough to go outside into the big wide world. And then create your lovely new herb bed that you're going to have, which is fabulous. Now I'm going to put mine in the salad bed as well, which will be great. So I will show you that. And then finally we've got to move on to the basil. Now these need to be planted individually, so I'm just going to take a couple of these up, and then I'll let the other smaller ones get slightly bigger, and then I'll do the same with those at a later date. So I'll just show you how to do those. So as the same as the other ones, get your 3-inch pot and just fill it up with normal multi-purpose compost. Pat it down nice and gently. Now if your basil has come up really well, then you can sort of tip it out and sort of pull them off. But because these are quite tiny, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the label, and I'm going to definitely take that one. In fact, I might leave this one for a bit longer because I don't think it's big enough. So I'm just going to get the label and just gently push underneath, just to lift this one up, but without disturbing any of the rest of them. So I will leave these for a bit longer to grow, but I will sort this one out now. Now you can see that there are some lovely little roots underneath there, so it is growing very well, if a little slowly. I do love basil. Basil's lovely. It's really nice, just especially with tomatoes, and fresh basil is gorgeous. So just make a little hole, and then just gently push it down, being very careful, and then just fill it back just like that, just with some compost. Now this is actually the smallest I would replant it at. I would usually wait for it to get a little bit bigger, but I wanted to show you this, and then we could keep all of the basil and all of the chives and the parsley all together. So there's that one done. Once the others are big enough, then I will I'll pop those on, and hopefully this one will have some little friends to go with it. Right, so there's my little basil. I will look after the other ones and put those on so that he's got some company, but hopefully the rest will grow really well, and then I will show you the next stage when I put them out into their new home outside. It's so exciting. But I hope you found that useful, and I shall see you soon. Bye bye.